And yes, we are officially live. And guess what? It's Thursday. So you know what time that is. So without further ado, let's go ahead and say those words and get things a rolling. So,
Let's get dangerous.
and welcome to another episode of Comic Book Spectrum. I'm Joe D. McPhee. I'm here with the rest of the Comic Book Spectrum crew. I got, if I could say it here, the ruler of Clydeveria, Clyde Hall himself, and his main general, D. Eric S. Hawkins.
Kneel before Zod. Ow.
That pimple is looking bad. Yeah, I'm going to be 53 this year, and I'm still getting pimples.
Oh, wow.
It's all the chocolate you eat, man. I tell you.
Chocolate. I love chocolate. I haven't had any chocolate in a while that I can think of. Did you guys have acne as a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had you heard of any strange home remedies when you were a child to get rid of them?
I never really had to try the strange home remedies per se, but yes, I heard of a few.
Toothpaste was one that burns. But my grandmother tried to convince me if I washed my face in my morning urine, it would get rid of the acne.
Okay.
Wow, that's at least it's not as putrid as pickle juice and mayonnaise.
Yeah, I never tried it. I just couldn't do it. You know, I wanted people to be around me the rest of the day. Man, you smell like you pissed your pants. Not just my face. I didn't have no shows to watch this week.
Well, X-Men 97 is not around, if I could say that. So that was one less show.
That I forget. Bad Batch, because I was watching Bad Batch. That's over. We've been watching Young Sheldon. That finished last week. We watched that.
I didn't see the last season of that.
Oh, dude, the second to last episode and part of the very last one, because they were doing 2 episodes a night for the last 2 weeks. Man, I started bawling. And we watched the season finale of Tracker Monday night. That's on, is it CBS? It's got a Jennifer will tell you it has Kevin from This Is Us on it. I said, no, that's Green Lantern from Smallville. Or not Green Lantern, Green Arrow from Smallville. And last week or the week before, they introduced his long lost brother on the show, which was Coach Teague from Smallville, otherwise known as Dean Winchester from Supernatural. So I was like, oh yeah, this is getting good. But that's been a decent show. That's been a decent show. Tracker. It's renewed for a second season, so I'm looking forward to see where they go with it now.
We got to watch last weekend. We got to watch. Got to see the new episode of Doctor Who. Boom, which was written by Stephen Moffat. So if you're a Doctor Who fan and you like Moffat's work, like Blink, it was a good episode. Pretty solid. The new Doctor is really playful. The most playful and kind of joyous Doctor I can remember since maybe Matt Smith. And that's getting like mixed reviews. Some people like it, some people don't. But it's better than Peter Capaldi's kind of curmudgeon Doctor, I think. You know, somebody that seems to enjoy traveling and interacting with a companion, and they're really a good fit, the two of them right now. So that was, the whole season has been, from the Christmas specials on, have been pretty decent for me. I like the stories. I like the new kind of, it's a new kind of leaf. Actually, they started it over with a season 1 to show that they're launching something new and different. And it does feel that way. Now, again, some of the longtime fans feel disenfranchised, but I don't know that they gave it really a chance either. It's like it sounded like about 15 minutes into the first episode, they're like, hate it.
Well, that's the internet for you too.
Yeah.
Well,
something dropped. I think it was almost 2 weeks ago now on the streaming services, a superhero movie, and I haven't watched it.
Madam Web?
Yes, I didn't know if any of you had watched it yet.
no, I haven't watched it yet.
Ginny is watching it as we speak. So if you hear shrieks of horror, well, know the, the initial reports were true.
Oh, yeah. Well, my best friend, he watched it last week, and yeah, it wasn't good from his review. So I was like, well, thank you. I don't think I'll try. I mean, I saw it. I was like, nope, I'm not going to try it.
I like the concept. I thought the concept as it was laid out from previews and trailers would be interesting. But I have no confidence in Sony either. So when they first said, "Oh, this makes Morbin Time look like Academy Award material," I was like, okay. I'll still probably watch it, but
wait till Craven hits.
I'll be afraid for Craven. Only reason because Madam Web from the first couple of trailers kind of gave me hope because it was like, okay, she's developing her precognitive power.
Mhm.
That at least it gave you that feeling. It's like she's not.
It's the bat phone.
Yeah, I don't know why people are calling
Commissioner Gordon, I keep telling you not to call me here.
Right, exactly. But saying all that to say, it's like it was almost like, okay, we're getting kind of like a mixed opinion origin story, but she hasn't gotten into the Madam Web that we know of in the comics.
Mhm.
That's what I thought we were going to get. And then when I found out what it was about, I was like, yeah, I don't know about this, about, Peter's dad being up in this to kind of tie it into, Spider-Man lore and all this other stuff. Like, I don't know about this.
Well, there was one thing I had forgotten about the reviewers talking about it, like Screen Crush and the other one I watched. I can't remember the name of it. Heavy Spoilers. The main villain, they seem to have had to go over and re-record all his dialogue, and it doesn't match in the movie with him talking, and sometimes his mouth isn't even moving and stuff. And my buddy was telling me, yeah, it's like that the whole thing. I'm like, oh my God. So I don't know, maybe I'll watch it just to try to get a laugh out of it.
Sony just keeps trying to make a bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes sandwich, and Spider-Man is the bacon, so it's just lettuce and tomato sandwich. Yeah. So unless you're a comic book vegan, you're out of luck, I think, with most of what they've tried to do, except for the animated stuff. Except for the animated stuff.
Oh, the animated stuff's been.
How are you getting lettuce and tomato? It's just like they try to do a BLT and they just giving you bread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think
that's pretty much it. I mean, it's like, you can think about it. Venom, which to me was not all that bad, but it wasn't what people wanted. Yeah. It was, again, Spider-Man being the bacon. Mm-hmm. Got Venom, wasn't as good. You got Morbius, wasn't all that great. People panned.
A good movie that has nothing to do with Morbius. If you didn't think about Morbius, it wasn't bad. But if you thought about being Morbius, well, it worked.
Yeah,
it's
a web.
It's a bacon, leeks, and turnip sandwich.
Ooh. What about and if it's Venom, maybe like a turkey bacon?
Oh yeah,
lettuce and tomato. Okay, yeah, I could eat that. I could do that. That's all right. So now, if you want a vampire movie that's not afraid to be a vampire movie, it's like when comic books try to do a vampire character, it's they always seem to be like, well, it's comic books, it's for kids, we can't have any bloodletting. What kind of vampire movie can you have without it being vampires, whether they're supernatural or otherwise? But if you want one that's a real vampire movie and it is dedicated to vampirism, Abigail.
See, I have not watched that. Everybody's been saying it's really good. I want to try that.
How
last good vampire movie I watched was the Nicolas Cage one.
Oh, the one, the
Renfield.
I loved Renfield.
I did too.
Yeah.
This has some of the same elements, except it's not it's not nearly as funny as that one's supposed to be. This was, there's some humor in it, but how and it's Abigail's a child,
Mhm.
and it's a kidnapping plot gone wrong, but vampirism comes into play, and you know how a child actor can kind of make or break a movie that's sort of edgy anyway.
Mhm.
This little actor that plays Abigail does an excellent excellent job. Don't If you have children, don't let them watch it. It's got a lot of blood. Like I
Ah,
said, it embraces the vampirism, wholeheartedly. So, but that was a really I went in not knowing what it was about at all, and the first strains of Swan Lake begin playing, and I'm going, this is not going to end well. A heist film that has Swan Lake at the beginning of it, and you expect to see Bela Lugosi, looming in the background. You're like, okay. But did you ever watch The Strain, in either of you? The series?
I feel like I started watching it but didn't finish it.
Do you remember the rat catcher who ends up
Mm-mm.
becoming a Strigoli hunter with the others?
Uh-uh.
Okay, that actor is in this, and
Oh,
you know,
okay.
he was one of the best parts of that series ever. He was a fan favorite character. So, but it's got some good acting. It's got a decent storyline, and it reminds me of some of the chill games that I have run, where the human agents that are investigating unknown things set a trap that's perfect for humans. A
Mm.
human would be hard pressed to not be captured or killed in this trap, only to find out that what they are facing is absolutely not in any way human.
Oh.
That look on their faces of, this just got like way, way worse because it didn't even slow it down. It's that kind of has that kind of vibe about it.
Hmm.
So
I'll check both of those out. So I remember seeing the previews for Strain, and I don't know if I didn't watch it at all, or if I started watching it and just never finished. I don't remember. One of my all-time favorite vampire movies, and it's probably not a lot of people's favorite, would be 30 Days a Night.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. I mean, it's a little unconventional, but
Mhm.
I really like that. I like the concept of them coming out at night, when there's 30 days a night. Now,
Mhm.
if if you haven't seen the sequel, there was a sequel.
Mhm.
It's not that good.
Mhm. Mhm. Based on a comic book.
Based
Mhm.
on a comic book too, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we got Elaine in the house here,
Hey, Elaine.
and we got Eric the Guapo here. Yes, we know it's Thursday, not Saturday. It's Thursday, not Saturday. It's like my youngest loved the Bad Batch.
Uh-huh.
Hey,
Oh yeah,
Eric
Bad Batch is good.
and Matt Smith was it was a pre-adolescent girl, and the first Doctor were more. Okay, it's like, what can I say? I love calling Joy. Yep, she does have that knack to do that. Abigail, I want to see. Renfield is hilarious,
Yeah, Renfield was really good.
and the Strain for the Win. I still haven't watched that. I watch the Strain every other year,
Mhm. Mhm.
and the sequel to 30 Days a Night sucked. Yeah.
It was really I don't think it went to theaters. I think it was like direct to video or something. I didn't know until this year there was a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was wow, let me check it out. I'm like, oh god, this is horrible. Because I love that first one so much. I caught it on cable one time, and hadn't even heard of it. It was coming out. I'll watch this. Oh wow! Oh wow!
Mhm. Mhm. Hmm.
Just not my most popular genre, though. But what do you guys think about the so-called remake and recasting for Blade?
For Blade,
Mm-hmm.
did they? What, they didn't recast someone else, did they? I haven't
Well,
seen any
that's what
news.
the rumor mill is. It's like they're
Uh,
remaking the movie, and this will be a non-Wesley Snipe Blade.
oh yeah, they were
Oh
going to
yeah.
do one
Yeah.
with Marsha. I can't pronounce the guy's name. I like him as an actor. He's very into the creative process and wants to be part of it, and he has not liked things that have been going on with it. The first script didn't have any vampires.
Mhm.
See?
And they were
See?
like, what?
Mhm, mhm.
So it's pretty much in development hell right now, I think. I mean, between COVID, writer's strike, and
Mhm.
then everything Marvel puts out has been bantha poo poo. But it's
I wouldn't
Uh,
say everything. I
not
think
everything.
some
I mean,
things,
some
I think
stuff's
some
been
things
good.
did not get a fair shake, and then other things was well deserved. The
Yeah.
canning.
Mhm. Their string of successes has become intermittent, and they are very aware of that. So they're
Mhm.
trying to go back to formula.
Yeah, for 10 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he even did a cameo in
The
Eternals.
Eternals? Yeah.
Eternals, just his voice. He only did his voice
Yeah,
at the very
yeah.
end. He's supposed to be Blade. But yeah, it's been
Here's-
in development hell.
Here's my hope is that they will let some of the people that were involved in Werewolf by Night, the special,
No.
have a hand in that, rather than whether it's a movie or a series or whatever, instead of the people that were in charge of the Eternals.
Yeah.
That would be good. That would be a good thing.
You know, there's another thing. They have just dropped all those characters in Werewolf by Night. You haven't heard anything about them.
Mm-mm.
Moon Knight, you haven't heard anything about if there's going to be anything with it. Nothing. They're
Nope.
just
Mhm.
I don't know where they're going.
See, I know what I would do, but I'm not Marvel. Because if you're going to bring him back, I will have the balls, since you have done at least 3 of the 4 characters already in some form and some fashion, and just go ahead and do Marvel Knights.
Mhm.
Well, there was rumor that this was all going to lead into Midnight Suns,
Right.
Mhm.
but then everything just kind of fell
It fell
apart.
apart.
Mhm.
It fell apart. I mean, it's like,
And you can't have a Blade movie without vampires.
I'm telling you, if it's a comic book movie and it's about vampires, they want to change it so we can't have the bloodletting. What you're doing regular
Okay,
vampire
fine. Okay,
movies?
fine. No bloodletting. That means no Tomb of Dracula. Fine.
Yeah,
I give you
yeah.
that. You can't have traditional Dracula. You can't shut down Blade like that. You can't. No way possible.
Nope.
No, and everybody seems to forget Blade Blade is a comic book character and it was a Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't. I just first time I read that,
Even though they did
no
bastardize
vampires.
Whistler.
Mhm.
They
Yeah, what, Jim?
bastardized Whistler in the 3rd movie.
Mhm.
I did like the who they chose to play Whistler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 3rd movie. Yeah, it always falls apart in the 3rd movie. 99% of the time.
They tried to do too much, too fast, too soon, because their up there was like, we're not going past the 3rd movie. Why? Because the 3rd movie has always been jinxed. It has not been successful. And because you take that attitude instead of making it a franchise where you could build upon it, because again, you had it set up where it's like, okay, Dracula was not the focus now. Now it's the son, and the son does something stupid. And then you have to go and get Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, to be one of the big bad vampires that led to nothing.
Mm-hmm. Either that, or it becomes a 3rd movie becomes a chance to shoehorn in, 3 times as many villains in the hopes that that'll.
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
See, Spider-Man 3 sucked.
I just feel
3
bad. I still feel bad about Spider-Man 3 because
was
that to me
forced.
was a good Sandman movie. It should have been just Sandman. They should have just dealt with Sandman.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they didn't introduce Venom correctly at all.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And I love Topher Grace as an actor.
Mhm.
'Cause I watched every episode of that 70s show. But he is not Eddie Brock.
No.
He does not have the build to be Eddie
No.
Brock.
He's not even Eddie Haskell, much less Eddie.
Now, kids, that's an older reference. You might have to go look that one up on the interwebs.
Um,
Oh.
But I don't know. To
That
me,
may be
it's like
true,
it should
but
have
you
been
both laughed.
It was.
so-
Because we're old.
Yeah. You have to be this old to understand this.
You must be this old to ride this ride. This is.
Yeah, there was a.
I never. Speaking of that, I never saw my granddaughter more upset when she thought she was not going to get to ride a Universal. They had "You Must Be This Tall," and she was doing everything except like standing on her brother's tiptoes to make that to be this tall, only to find out that the way that she was standing there was wrong, and they like put her up against it, and she was about half inch taller than what she had to be to get. But boy, there for a minute, it was like meltdown city of. It's not fair.
I so love WBN, but they need to make more. Yep. That's like my youngest have been watching Midnight Suns play through with the scenes. Yeah.
Nice.
Let's be honest, Blade helped Marvel see that movies on their IPs if possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thanks to where was it? New Horizon Video or whatever that company. New Horizon or New Line Cinema. That's what I was thinking. New Line Cinema.
Yeah.
Thanks to New Line Cinema, Marvel got their start for Marvel Studios. If it wasn't for Blade,
also kept them from bankruptcy more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel.
Yep. And that's why Sony has the Spider-Man properties.
Word, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back for Iron Man 4. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting.
I mean, I loved him as Iron Man. I really did. But they already killed him. Don't bring back dead people.
Well,
this ain't Pet Cemetery, folks.
No. It's not that. The thing that I saw, and it was kind of like a tiny little Easter egg. And if they do it, they have to do it right, and it has to make sense at the end. Because in the comic books, it didn't make sense. And that is the crossing. Because we dealt with Kang. You do have the idea of a younger Tony Stark from a different timeline.
I'm tired of timelines.
Yeah, but again, you're dealing with Kang, and when you have to deal with young Anthony Stark, there was a timeline where young Anthony Stark was a part of that Kang continuum.
Well, they should bring in Starlo. Was it a Starlo Stark?
Something like that.
Yeah, from 2099 or something. Yeah, that's who they need.
I did hear rumors. I don't know. It's just rumors right now, but they have cast some more people for the Fantastic Four movie, and one of them is a well-known an actress. I don't know her, but apparently she's got some chops and a lot to recommend her as a serious role. And so speculation began of what if they're going to cast her as Doctor Doom? What if they're going to gender swap the Doom character? Again, I think it right now it's just, hey, this would make a good speculation thing to put on a headline, but then others were like, she's got the chops, she could actually do that if they went that route. Again, I don't know the actress.
Again, it could lead to variations of other storylines, such as let her be Doom up until the point where they need to introduce Valeria. Again, she have worn Doom armor, so it kind of fits if they wanted to do it that way. I mean, there's ways to actually do it and make it legit and not make it a true gender swap.
I'm not seeing her, but I am seeing some of the other ones. The guy they had that they picked to be Thing. I think his voice would be perfect for it. Because he was on Bear. You guys ever watch Bear? It's about a Italian beef shop in Chicago. And the first season's good. The second one's been crap, so we didn't finish it. Ralph Ineson as Galactus. I don't know.
No, I don't know about that here.
Some guy named Pedro Pascal. Joseph Quinn kind of looks familiar, but I don't know what I've seen him in. Is Johnny Storm?
Mhm.
And Vanessa Kirby, the name's kind of familiar.
But no relation.
No, and then Julia Garner as Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
No.
Not who I would have envisioned. I really loved her in
Ozark.
Ozark.
Well, that's all I can picture is her as little Ruth as
Right.
Silver Surfer with that twang.
But I, give her a chance because she's a really great actor. So
Yeah.
I have no problem with giving that a shot. And there's also a comic book story apparently where
There
they
was
both
one.
they both became like Heralds of Galactus.
It's like
so
was it a what if or just a
I
it
don't
wasn't in the
remember.
regular series. It was like
Oh.
a
No, it wasn't
alternate-
in the regular
it was an
Silver
alternate.
Surfer, but
Yeah.
it was
Okay,
a
okay.
Silver Surfer annual or something like that where they
Mm.
introduced that. There
But
was
still, there's comic
a female Silver Surfer.
Yeah. It's still when people were hollering about it, but still there's a comic book version that is out there. So just
Mhm.
like Captain Carter, so
Oh, is it Natasha
I agree
Lyon?
with Elaine with this. That New Line Cinema saved a lot of bacon. Yep. They would need to include Loki as if he was managing the multiverse.
yeah.
I don't know about that because they never introduced the tribunal, the living tribunal as of yet.
Hmm.
Hmm.
They introduced Watcher, and if introduced Watcher and the fact that there's a multiverse, but they never introduced the tribunal who resides over it as of yet.
I found the actress here, Clyde. Yeah, I'd seen articles, but I didn't realize that's what it was.
Mhm.
Natasha Lyon.
Mhm.
I've seen some of her stuff, but what I know her best for is American Pie movies. So I think
Okay.
she's in the first two.
Hmm.
The really gravelly voiced redhead.
Mhm.
That's who she is. Yeah.
Okay.
The one Johnny Storm X has become of Heralds of Galactus. Frankie Ray. You talk about Frankie Ray.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know why, but for some reason I want to see Crystal. Remember Crystal as Johnny's girlfriend for a while?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you have to have a good Inhumans movie to.
But you got to have a good Inhumans to do it. Yeah.
Even though
Did you
the
guys
TV
watch
series
Inhumans?
it was okay. It was it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was meh. It was forgettable.
Meh is charitable. Yeah, I'll grant you.
Yeah, I mean, but I say it was forgettable. The whole series was forgettable, but it was.
That's why I got deep love for Anson Mount for coming back as Black Bolt in the Multiverse of Madness, because he came back and he played that role again after that got mostly panned.
He played that role in the TV series very well.
He did. No, he was not a problem with it. They definitely had some good performances, but
the two actors that I believe kind of made the show what it needed to be was him and the actress that played Medusa.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of gave us the royal family that we were used to in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else was like, why is this poor effects, or why the costume is not accurate? And even Maximus the Mad wasn't as mad as what he's supposed to be. That's like, he's ingeniously insane, but I get why he's doing it. He's not. It wasn't like because he could.
Mm-hmm.
It was just more along the lines, I need to show my brother that we're better than this. I was like, Maximus would have never did that.
Yeah.
This actress has already been in a Marvel movie.
Yeah? Which one?
Blade Trinity.
Oh.
Yeah,
she was a researcher for the Night Stalkers.
Ah.
Yeah. She helped develop the Daystar virus. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, we go and kill vampires with insulin. I would never forget that. that kind of made me go like, huh? That's like vampires have diabetes? What?
Was Wilford Brimley
Yeah.
in that one?
And Wilford Brimley as Whistler. I'm over here, Blade. I got a cure for diabetes. Is that oatmeal? Yeah, and insulin.
Wait, tell Clyde what I said, or there will be pain. Pain about what did you say that I missed? I thought I said everything.
You didn't read it out loud. You didn't. I think she's talking
Oh.
about the Leave It to Beaver. I don't think you read it out loud though.
Oh no, I did say that. I
Did you
did say it out loud. It's like she said, "I remember Leave It
Yeah.
to Beaver." I believe
Yeah.
that. And
Then
I
what
think
is-
one
yeah.
that we did, that one that I started off with was, New Line saved a lot of bacon, and that was
Mhm.
true.
Yeah.
And then they need to include Loki
Mhm.
as he is now managing the multiverse. So it's like, technically in his series, he's not. He's holding the timeline together. Not really managing the multiverse, but he's holding the current timeline together.
Like this.
It would still
Yes.
be good to see him becoming more of somebody that knits together to take a more active hand in actually learning how to fashion it and keep it solidified and be a storyteller. Be the storyteller that he's
I
developed
didn't read
into.
that.
Oh,
comment
she
before.
likes the shirt. That's what it is.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
The Bride of Dracula shirt. Yeah. I said I will rip. Rip.
You guys mentioned, we all mentioned Wilford Brimley. Clyde, I already know you're just slightly older than me.
Mhm.
Joe, you're not even 50 yet, right?
No,
Okay.
I'm a couple years for 50.
Do you guys know how old Wilford Brimley was in Cocoon when he was, living in an old folks home?
I will want to say he was less than 60. He was just shy of 60.
Ooh,
$49?
try shy of 50. He was 49 years old.
What?
I feel very good about myself right now
Mhm.
that I don't look as old as he did in Cocoon.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
old was he? How old was he when he was on that NBC sitcom? It was like Our Family or My Family or whatever it was, Our
I don't
Time
know.
or whatever it was called.
Mm.
Probably early 40s. That dude did not age well.
No.
No, he put the curmudgeon in curmudgeon back then.
Yeah. I knew he was younger than I always thought he was, but I just looked up like, crap, I feel pretty good.
He was like
50
20 years younger than just about everybody else, all the other actors that were in the
Yeah.
old folks' home scenes with
Yeah.
Cocoon. So,
Yeah, he did not age well. Which reminds me, I saw a meme today that I can't remember who played Wesley Shipp. I know it was Wesley Shipp's who played Wesley in Star Trek?
Oh, can't think of his name.
Respect the bride, as she was saying.
I can't remember his name either, but he is now the same age as Patrick Stewart was when Star Trek's Next Generation started.
Right.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart was less than 50.
Patrick Stewart didn't age for about 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it's kind of hit him pretty hard. He still looks good, but you could see the age now.
Oh, yeah.
It was after the X-Men movies that decline where that look went.
It was all that riding around in the wheelchair.
Mhm.
He wasn't getting his
No.
exercise.
No,
Too
it's all
sedentary.
the rumors between him and Ian McKellar
Oh.
after they did the X-Men movies and all the shenanigans that they did after.
Oh.
Mhm.
I mean, they did some messed up stuff.
Oh, I can believe it.
So if I could say some nasty practical jokes, like all the time, like.
But Wilfred Brimley, I mean, he really did apparently suffer from diabetes. So
yeah.
you know,
Well,
this
we
could
assume
be.
he did. He
I
got
think
paid.
so.
He got paid to at least say he
It came
did.
from all of those
No, I think he
workers.
really did.
Yeah, yeah.
It
And
came from all those workers originals because remember he did that one commercial.
yeah, but if in fact he did, I mean that tends to have a. I saw my
Very
dad.
nasty effect.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
my dad go from being, an, you he was 62 when I was born, so he was, pretty good health, even though he suffered black lung and stuff. But
Mhm.
those last few years, sharp decline in his virility and how just his whole posture, he just kind of folded in on himself
Uh,
after contracting type 2 diabetes and not taking care of himself very well with it. So he didn't know about the wonders of oatmeal. So
my favorite Wilford Brimley movie is The Firm. When Tom Cruise beats the crap out of him with a briefcase. He is so evil in that movie. He deserved that beating.
But that role fits. He was typecast for that role. I'm sorry. He is typecast for that role.
I thought my favorite Wilford Brimley, besides The Thing,
yeah.
My favorite Wilford Brimley role is the Lemony Mr. Smith. Is that right? In Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins.
Oh my God. He was in that?
Yeah, he's the guy that directs Cure.
Oh.
Where he goes, well, Cure sucks, whatever Cure is. And he's like, oh boy, why don't you have a seat in the chair there? I know your ribs are aching. And he said, let me tell you a little bit about what Cure does. Well, what they assassinate with impunity. That's part of it, yeah. But he's just real matter of fact about the whole. Yeah, we're a black bag operation that nobody, and nobody holds you accountable. Oh, we're accountable, all right. Let me guess, to the President of the United States, exactly, and like 16 others before him. But he just does this, casual. Yeah, we're a deep covert ops group within the government that nobody knows about. So
now I'm going to watch that again. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Has this portrait in his attic.
Don't let him look at it. Don't let him look at it.
He were pals from their RSC
Royal Shakespeare Company days. Yeah, yeah.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton. That's it.
Thank you. Yes.
Wesley.
Sheldon's nemesis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where in the name of Doris left butt chicken?
Yeah. Good question. And Carl and Donna aren't with us tonight.
I can tell you where they're all at.
You know what? I'm about to try to go summon her.
Are they watching the BKM show?
They are. Let me go sneak in.
And her favorite Brimley movie is The Thing.
Yes, yeah, that's a very good one. Oh, I think he just ended or something. I don't see it now. He was still going a few minutes ago. I looked. That sneaky bastard.
Well, should we continue to be in competition with him? And that seems kind of not nice of us to.
I don't think he's on anymore.
Well, no, but I mean,
Frank A. Morris.
We have a lot of our same audience and everything. And
yeah.
Now we're competing against each other. And
well, they just ended 10 minutes ago.
Wait, we're not competing against him tonight, are we?
We were. Yeah, he just ended 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I saw where he was starting to do a new show. Well, return of Clever Title Pending.
And he didn't tell us about it. We would have postponed and let him have the floor, but no. He up here is like, we gotta separate the forces.
Also, while I'm thinking about it, next week, Thursday night, usually we have a meeting on Monday nights, but next week last of the season, they've scheduled it for a Thursday night. So I will not be here next week.
Boo.
Oh, well, while we're going with that, I might not be here. Next week is fine. The 6th and the 13th.
Ah,
I might not be here because I got family coming in. I think both those weeks.
So we need to talk about, do we have a week off one of those weeks? Because if both of you are gone, and it's like,
Well,
do
Clive's
I
going to be
really
off
feel
the
like
30th.
carrying a whole show
Yeah.
by myself?
no,
Probably not.
next week it'll be the two of you, and then the 2 weeks after that will be you and me, Joe. But I think
Yeah,
it's
there's
also
1 week where both of you are gone. I think.
No, he's going to be off the 30th, and I'll probably be off the 13th and 6th.
Okay.
But it's not might not be a bad time to just consider if Brian is going to bring his show back on Thursday nights and be in competition with us, then I don't know. I'm kind of leaning toward letting him have it and have the time slot. I don't.
Well, I thought he started at the old time.
He started at 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
started at 6. He ran through, I guess it was, about 10 minutes ago.
Mhm.
Almost 7:30, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
It don't matter to me.
the hands back. She did the hands back.
Yeah.
I can fill in for someone ask me nicely. Yeah, she can. She could. I mean, she has
There you go.
done my show, so she could be here.
Mm-hmm.
She could be an honorary part of the spectrum.
Oh,
Well,
that
yeah.
reminded me. How'd your first TikTok show go the week before last?
Ah.
I was going to ask you during the show, and I forgot to. Not TikTok, Whatnot. Sorry.
I'm about to say, who's doing TikTok? I'm like, looking at Brian like, what? You on TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't keep them all
what?
straight.
Whatnot actually was quite.
That was your
surprising.
first OnlyFans show.
I was like, oh wow, Eric broke the ice on his action figure theater or OnlyFans. How did you make that bedrock on that OnlyFans show?
That's a rogue booty right there.
No, getting back to the question I had, it went surprisingly well, and I'm going back on to Whatnot this weekend.
Oh, okay.
So this will be my second show here. What I'm hoping would be the piece of resistance is going to happen in the next month. Right now, I'm kind of scheduling for my Whatnot shows to be like twice a month, so like every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So after this Saturday show in 2 weeks, I'm going to have what is called a Bring Your She-Hulk Once type show. So that means I am opening up my collection, my extras, to people to help them fill in their want list. So if you got a She-Hulk collection, holla at your boy. I'm probably going to get that completed for you. 2 weeks after that, it's going to be the mother of all holiness. If you ever thought about completing a Wonder Woman collection, whether it be anything from Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, some of the stuff from Volume 5, yeah, I might throw in some Volume 1 stuff. My job is bring your want list. I'm going to try to help you complete it.
So you have all
cost you, some nominal fee for it, but that's where I'm planning to bring to Whatnot.
So you got all the Tom King variant cover Wonder Woman issues.
Not as of yet. No, seriously.
Okay.
Don't joke.
I'm just trying to trigger you.
He's got all those Frank Miller variants.
Don't mess with
He's trying to unload all the Frank Miller variants.
Again, I told you, it's like when I say bring your want list, we're talking about Tom King stuff. So
look at Joe's shirt. I hadn't noticed this, but this is very cool.
Yeah, that's the
beautiful.
So it's like we got
beautiful.
All of the attack, the Amazon's attack up in here, all the different variants. and starting from Tom King Wonder Woman. Now, all my stuff for Tom King Wonder Woman is still not here because the newer issues have not shown up. But
Wow.
don't
Wow.
I don't play.
Yeah.
I honestly literally don't play. So when I'm up here saying bring your want list, I might be able to help you. Now, I'm not going to give up certain things. Like if you're coming here looking for a Savage She-Hulk #1, I'm not giving that up. Even though I have multiple copies of it, I'm not going to give it up. I'm not going to give, like some of the harder to find stuff. And when I say the harder to find stuff, I'm talking about like some of the money books, like from like volume 2, like issue number 184, which is the Adam Hughes Wonder Woman cover where the modern Wonder Woman met Golden Age. I'm not planning to give issues like that up, but I will have a lot of Adam Hughes books that are more common than that one available. I mean, yeah. I mean, we got a fair amount of alternate covers and whatnot. But all this stuff is not going to be up for sale unless I have like really like multiples. Like that one right there, I do have an extra one of those. So I might think about it. But yeah, I could do a little something to help people out.
Now, what?
I'd rather for people to be able to give a lot of these books a good home than to be hoarding it and trying to flip them. I'm very against anti-flipping, but I want to help those who are legitimate collectors.
Yeah, trying to fill out their collections and fill in the gaps. That's excellent.
Now, I see a
you
lot
know,
of
that
people...
was my idea to try to build up kind of like a following.
Yeah.
And then once I build up the following, since they know who I am, they'd be more apt to buy the books that I produce here.
Yeah. I see Whatnot becoming more and more popular among people, but you can't just go out to Whatnot, create a profile, and start selling stuff, right?
No.
You have to go through like seminar. I would say like seminars
I got
before
invited.
you could even launch your first.
I got invited to sell.
Yeah.
I didn't seek them out. They sought me out.
That's good.
And what I think truly had happened is that somebody recommended me without telling me, and then all of a sudden I got this notification like, "Hey, we want you to sit on this seminar." And I was like, "Okay, let me go ahead and sit down on this seminar." And then that's what they told me about this, that, yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Oh, by the way, your profile is now active to sell." And they gave us all these different incentives to sell that first week that we got activated. So that's how everything just got started here. But this is volume 5, by the way, people. Tom King is volume 5, by the way. So just to give you an idea of what to expect at the tail end of you. And if you think that was impressive, wait till you get into some of the later stuff that I could do here, like with Uncanny X-Men. Once I get my collection really sorted out in storage. And the only reason I could do the She-Hulk and Wonder Woman because I kind of concentrated on that first, more so than anything else. And now I know a certain editor of mine is going to be angry because she's up here like, "I want your Wonder Woman books." She's like, "Oh, we got TikTok with the whatnot." Joe, I was back your worst enemy for that shirt. Oh, really? I should have hooked you. I was like, that company is no longer did not show up for C2E2. But these were like the types of t-shirts that I would buy at like C2E2 when they had them. I have this one. I got a Secret Wars #1 cover shirt like this. I have a Ghost Rider one. I have different ones. Do you have any idea how many issues of Amazonia I have edited for these puppies? honest answer, all 7.
Hmm.
The reason I say honest answer, all 7, because you edited the 5th anniversary version of issue number 1, but not the original first printing. So she was there since issue 1, but she wasn't there for the first printing of issue 1. So yeah, all 7. Yeah, Repop asked me to do it. Yeah. See, that's all. That's all I was trying to get people to understand. It's like sometimes when you do the show at a booth and you don't cause any problems, and they see that you're there selling and you're more of a positive influence. Companies like Repop will be like, "Hey, we got room in Florida. Do you want to pop in? Okay, we piss you in for a booth." They will come looking for you. I'm like, really? Yep. Nope, they did not elect a new governor. That's just the way that they are. That Repop is. And there she is. Parallax. Laney wanted me to summon you. And I would go back to that comment, and this is what she said verbatim. Where is it? No, it was way before that. It was way before she threatened me and this, that, and the other. No, it was after the string. There it is. This is what she said. Where in the name of Thoris left booty cheek? And now you're here.
Oh.
Oh, don't go there.
So Eric, tell us about
I
your show
made her
tonight.
cry once, and that was all because of a story that I wrote.
For shame, for shame, for shame. Oh, tonight we're doing Broadway musicals.
Well, Lady
Ladyoscopy?
later said Ladyoscopy can't do her own somebody, but I was outside with Dominique and Shay, and outside with my friends on the stoop. Okay.
So musicals, that's your topic tonight on your drawing show.
Yes. I'm excited to see what everybody's going to draw because pretty much you can draw just about anything that's been a musical. Grease was a musical.
Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Wicked.
Oh, Wicked. Yeah. I'm surprised. Eric, at your choice.
I love Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
Tradition.
Even I'll start. I can't watch it. I can't watch the movie in the house. I'll start dancing and singing along. But darn it, Lion King, hugely popular musical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of stuff out there, And I was afraid some of them wouldn't even think of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Nope.
As it is a musical. Yeah.
Right. And what's the Queen of the Desert movie or musical? Priscilla. Queen of the Desert.
Priscilla.
Isn't that did they make that into a musical?
Yeah, they made that into a musical.
I'm trying to remember the whole name. Yeah. Priscilla. Yeah. Because the movie had Zod in it, didn't it? Didn't it have Zod in it?
It did.
Evil Dead and I remember Evil Dead was a musical. And then they were saying The Wiz.
The Wiz, definitely The Wiz, yes.
I was surprised that you didn't pick like The Wiz or Wicked.
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, I thought about it, but I was like, I really want to.
It's a musical play. Yep.
Try Fiddler on the Roof.
I mean, you have West Side Story.
Miss Saigon, Phantom of the Opera,
Phantom of the Opera,
Les Mis,
South Pacific.
South Pacific, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh
Little
my
ti-
goodness!
little tired of
the more
Oklahoma.
the
Mm.
one that I can't stand anymore because they always play it too often on television. The Sound of Music.
Mm.
Oh, Sound of Music. Yeah. Meet Me in St. Louis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys,
Oh,
Dolls.
yep. Meet Me in St. Louis. Guys and Dolls. Spider-Man. Turn off the dark. Turn off the dark and put me in my grave because people get hurt.
I mentioned before we got on here when It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman,
Right.
which I think is got kind of a raw deal.
Oh,
Closing so soon.
MJ, the Michael Jackson story. The Carole King one. We talked about Carole King, the songwriter.
Mhm.
What was the other one? Chicago.
Oh, Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Because I did specifically mention that one and Chicago
Showgirls.
for the one artist who likes to draw very buxom, half-naked women. Said, look,
Tapestry.
there's always something for you to draw.
Inspiration.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you got Showgirls, Dreamgirls, Tapestry.
Joseph
I
and
don't
his
know.
Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yep.
Jesus
love
Christ
that.
Superstar.
Oh, she mentioned a good one. Hair.
Hair.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So it's you name something that is wide open depending on what you like here.
Yeah.
I hope you have a good turnout for it.
I hope so too. I
cool.
think there's 3 of them already in there getting ready to start. 1, 2, 3. So that's not bad. And if there's one of them's in there, that means there's 2 of them in there because they're sisters. Like last week, I haven't shared the show in a long time. I shared it last week because there's another channel that does a drawing show on Thursday nights, and I am sick of seeing this guy post all of his art, which is traced.
Oh.
And so that's why I posted and said, we don't trace anything. We draw right there. We finish in 2 hours. And this other channel, they spend weeks working on drawing, and you never see this guy do his pencils. His pencils are laid out after he's already light box up there and trace them. Because I've looked at it, I brought it up and brought up the original pictures from the characters of the movies he's using. I'm like, it matches to a T. And I'm so, and it just bugs me. Just bugs me. One day I'm gonna get so pissed to say something.
Wow, I was like, they just going to town here.
No,
Greatest Showman?
like
Greatest Showman?
The Showman.
Showman, yeah.
World's Greatest Showman? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that we could do. We've never done anything like this. And someone mentioned something about seeing a musical last week. That's why it popped in my head. Because my first choice, what we would do this week, if no one had anything, was Mars Attacks. Because I don't know if we've ever done that. For some reason, it was in my head. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then we're ending the show and everybody's rushing off. I said, what? And Chester's like, just pick something, Eric. We'll do it. All right.
All the Disney
Broadway it is.
Musicals. No, they're not. Not every last one of them.
But a lot of them.
A lot of them, but not every last one of them. It's like, I do not remember Aristocats being a musical on Broadway.
Yeah, Lion King and Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast have been,
Yeah.
Little Shop of
It's a
Horrors.
lot. I'm not saying that there hasn't been.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
even Fantasia has been on Broadway.
Yeah. I'm really hoping someone draws Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors tonight. Whether it's cartoony, cute, or monstrous, that's why I want to see. But I need to get going
from the cartoon series.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
But I need to get going because they're getting ready to start. So it's been a pleasure, guys. We might not see Clyde next week. We won't see Clyde next week. But I'll be here. I might not be here the 2 weeks after that. It depends on when people are coming in town and leaving town. So
right.
But tune in every Thursday night and see us. No one else. No one else. No one else. You come see us.
Oh, she's like, draw Steve Martin with the black hair. To
Oh.
be a dead.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Bye, Eric. Have a good
Bye.
show.
Hi, Eric. Night, moon night, Eric. Well, Clyde, I did not do my homework. I do not have a review for this evening.
Well,
I've been quite busy.
uh-huh.
So hopefully you have something prepared.
I do. But you're talking about your shows that you're preparing to do. That takes some organization, given the scope of your collection. So I applaud you for doing that, and I understand it take up some massive amount of time to go through all those books. So, and also you have my deep appreciation because I got the Shadow #1 from DC thanks to your show, your first show. So so is it worthwhile? Absolutely. Check out his show.
Oh, you got somebody upset at you because you got
yeah.
Well, first thing first, it's like someone needs to keep my up to date. Okay. And then
Hi,
Clyde,
Yeah.
I'm sore at you.
Okay.
Dune One Shop has exploded in price.
Well, I can send you my copy if you want. I won't charge you a thing for it.
Leia, I have offered to injure Joe. Shout out to Leia for dragging you to Joe's show.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. But no, if you want that Doom 1, if it's like out of your price range now because it's gone orbital, I can send you mine because I really just bought it to have it for either a review or to look at and be able to speak about it, having read it. I have no deep and abiding connection to it. So let me know if you want it. Just drop me a message and we can work something out. I bet you.
Yep. Lane, what is your shirt size? I was seeing you a cool shirt.
Ooh, neat.
The worst cover is like 50. Oh, you don't want me. I know how you are with finding comics. I know I could probably figure out a way to arm wrestle somebody for that for less than $15. That's ridiculous. 15. The book hasn't been out for 2 weeks yet. Good grief.
Well, one thing that we didn't talk about last week, I had it scoped out, but
love the bride. Yep.
I had it scoped out, but I didn't mention it. But since we're talking Little Shop of Horrors, a couple of pop culture passings this week or last week. B movie king Roger Corman passed away.
She said it's 9 days old. That Doom book is 9 days old.
Yeah.
Wow. Less than 2 weeks.
But Roger Corman, king of the B movies and Little Shop of Horrors being one of them, passed away at age 98. He was also instrumental in bringing a lot of the, what we consider to be major talents, stars and directors. He kind of got their careers jump started early on. But some of the movies of his, Little Shop of Horrors, The Raven, Death Race 2000, Battle Beyond the Stars, Eat My Dust, House of Usher, Man with the X-Ray Eyes,
Death Race 2000.
Mm-hmm.
The start of Sylvester Stallone's career.
Yeah, that's right.
He was responsible for it.
Eat My Dust was Ron Howard's, kind of
return to movies,
big screen debut. Yeah, when he wasn't just a kid actor. Deathstalker, Piranha. So he basically he directed like I think 55 films and produced 385 from 1954 through 2008. So quite a legacy in filmmaking. The other one, and I was going to mention this before Eric got away, but Don Perlin passed away, and he was 94, best known for Marvel Comics like Werewolf by Night and Moon Knight, which was a character he co-created. But he also had parts in developing the Defenders and Ghost Rider. He worked he co-created Bloodshot over at Valiant Comics too. So
Wow.
yep. So lost some of the industry folks the last couple weeks, but they 94 and 98. I mean, they had a good run. So
All right, I'm just looking at all the comments here because
no, no.
first of all, Roger Corman has always been the king, like Jacob Kurtzberg. Yep. Battle Beyond the Stars is my favorite Corman film.
Oh, good.
Battle Beyond the Stars has Star Trek 3 alternate music takes. Yeah. And then she talked about she has Deathstalker 1 and 2 on DVD. Corman's Fantastic Four movie is the best one. Yes. Again, I don't understand why they shelved that one. If you ever get a chance to watch the unreleased Fantastic Four movie, I love what they did with the Mole Man. Even though I disagree with the costume that they have for Doom, Doom was okay as well. I just don't know what to say. And it's like, I mean, it wasn't made for prime time, if I could say it that way, but it was a solid movie. Battle would be the next film purchase. Okay.
Cool.
Moon Knight sucks. Sorry, I have to say. I'll find it for you. I'll find it for you, Lady Lamb, the Queen of Sales. Joe, it's like, Joe, did you get your Volume 6 Wonder? Yes, I bought it off of eBay, but I still have to wait because it comes from overseas, remember? That was the only problem with buying it. It was like it's coming from overseas, so it's just kind of like a sit and wait and hope that nothing else happens. I have it on DVD. You need a copy. The actor who played Doom has offered to re-record his dialogue to ADR into the film, and people offered him to redo the effects. Yeah. I mean, it was a solid movie. It's just they just didn't have a good special effects budget. It shows. You know, that's why I asked, because if you got got it yet silly, it's like it's going to become from Italy. Yep. Yep, it's going to be a bit, but I don't know. But saying all that to say, it's like, movies, comics, television, they're really are very close kissing cousins of one another when it comes to the properties itself.
For Roger Corman, I did a positive vibes post that showed comic books based on his work, because I was surprised. There was a very healthy handful from the 90s all the way up to modern takes based on either concepts or either directly or indirectly on his movies, including, I think, a Marvel Little Shop of Horrors comic I never, or maybe DC. I think it's DC. I never knew existed. So, but yeah, he's definitely left his imprint on pop culture.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they re-released the Punisher and Captain America, but they never truly re-released that Fantastic Four.
And they speculated that it was made just to preserve the rights. They could preserve the rights by showing, well, we made this, but we're not going to release it. That's good enough for their contractual obligation. But
also, I have the 60s Fantastic Four cartoon on DVD.
Ooh.
And Sonic Saturday AM. Yep. You're more familiar with the 60s Fantastic Four than the Sonic Saturday. Corman did a lot of interesting films that gave us almost every gave an entire generation of great filmmakers.
Yep. Yes, he did. And he did some great cameos. Except for Stan Lee, I think he probably did more cameos. There's a lot of people that remembered him and had him in like The Godfather as a senator. He was good at playing senators. He'd be a senator in the background or briefly interviewed, for a cameo role.
Kind of makes me want to go back because there's one since he was responsible for discovering Ron Howard, the adult aspect of Ron Howard after Happy Days. I wanted to go see this one movie from Ron Howard called Speed. It was his take on Formula One racing.
Oh,
that was critically acclaimed. And I was like, you know what? That might be interesting to watch because that was way outside of Ron Howard's wheelhouse to take something like that on sports.
Yeah.
Out of all things. Auto racing on top of that. Yeah, it's like I'm going to have to burn Clyde, copy for Clyde.
Okay.
And actors too, Elaine. Yep. Roger Corman is the king of cameo king. Yep. I remember the 60s Fantastic Four. I started reading those books because of it. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were pretty accurate to the comics too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the stoic, calmer, proper voice.
He did have a very, almost a, how would you describe it? It was pleasing, but very not lyrical exactly, but it had that pleasing, almost musical quality to his delivery. It was always smooth. Whether he was being interviewed or he was doing his cameo, had this way of discussing film that made you just like lean in closer. It was really good.
Laney, I could send you my old 2XL t-shirts that I have outgrown. They're basically all nerd based. Yeah, Howard Stern is making a name as a director now. I did not know that. I did not know that.
Two of the Mandalorian episode too, I think, that she helmed were really quite good. So yeah.
It kind of makes me wonder how good was Ron's father at directing.
I don't know that I've ever seen anything he directed, but I've seen him act in a lot of. He and his mother both were actors.
I know they both act, but I believe that his father was more of a director for like TV shows or something to that magnitude when he came into the scene. Because he stopped acting. It's like his father stopped acting when he was Opie Taylor. Because he went more to the directing, producing type aspect here.
Okay.
So that's why I say, I was like, I don't remember anything that his father did. But he's been around that stuff all the time.
Oh, it's fun to look at Ron and his brother talk about how they would compete, to getting roles and then making money from roles. And Ron beat him out of some role, and he was like, and I was like, hey, that's my money. It's not fair. You can't do that. So
weren't they both for the same role for American Graffiti?
I don't think this was like when these were like when they were really young kids. They were talking about.
Okay.
So
you're talking about, okay, this
was a
back
TV
in
part.
The child acting days. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm just still thinking about it's like.
Yes, I am all down for free cartoons. You betcha.
Yes. All hail Cliverian. Yes.
Yes.
They're literally scripted from the comic books. Clobber Omoto. Bryce Dallas Howard from those last Jurassic. Yeah. Nerd shirts make me smile. She did The Mandalorian. I think she did an Ahsoka episode. Which one? Please tell me she did the one where they had that Ahsoka eventually fought Hayden Christensen again. To prove, to kind of prove to her it's like, no, it's like you have a lot more fight in you. That one was good. The Courtship of Eddie Father is the earliest thing I have ever saw Ron Howard in.
Hmm.
We're talking about the movie Courtship of Eddie's Father, then, because that would be the movie, not the TV series.
Hmm.
Because by the time the Courtship of Eddie's Father TV series was on, he would have been right about the same age to play Richie Cunningham for Happy Days. Right about that time.
At least older than the Eddie character would. Yeah.
Way older,
Yeah.
older than Eddie. He would have been closer to what he played as far as Richie Cunningham was concerned.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll check and let you know. Yeah, I believe that would have been the movie, The Courtship of Eddie's Father. Yeah, the movie.
Not the series.
Series. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not this. Yeah.
Mhm.
According to IDMB, Rance did not direct. He was a writer producer. Okay.
Ah,
Because
okay.
he went from acting. I knew he went from acting. He stopped acting once Rance and Ron were heavily into the child acting scene.
Well, but he still makes cameos he cameoed in some of his son's films, but also in
Mhm.
things like I want to say that he was the guy. I could be wrong, but I think he's the guy that in the movie Ed Wood, he's trying to get funding for this film, and he goes to see a guy that runs a slaughterhouse,
Mhm.
and he's just like, uh, you know, and I want the ending to be with a big explosion, fire in the sky, and he's like, but it ends with Dr. Vornoff being torn apart by his creature. Not anymore. Oh, okay. also, Also, I got a son. He ain't very bright, but I think he'd be a hell of a leading man. If you know what I mean. Okay, so he's got to cast his son as the hero of the movie. But
Mhm.
I think that's him. Um, more speaking lines that he usually gets in modern films, but
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure I have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure that at the time I was like, oh, there he is again. But things like
And a
in
good actor.
Independence Day, he was like the chaplain that married um, uh, oh, two of the hero characters got married right before the big battle scene, and he was the chaplain. He had like one line. Did
Yeah.
you bring the ring? Kind of one thing. But,
Channel 9 used to show that movie on late nights. That was I want to say pre 2000s, Channel 9. Because Channel 9 in Chicago they used to show like a late night movie like on weekends and stuff like that. Not anymore.
hmm.
They don't have like a Sunday afternoon movie anymore. They don't have family classics anymore.
Mm-hmm.
See, even you remember family classics
Mm-hmm.
from if you were able to get to somebody's cable box and watch Channel 9 from Chicago on like a Sunday.
It was I was more like raising my own kid by the time we had access to Channel 9 Chicago.
Mhm,
Uh, in the late 80s, early
mhm.
90s, before we
It,
got
it, it,
on
it
our
was
cable
actually
network.
starting in the 70s.
Yeah.
That's how messed up it was. It's like Fraser Thomas was a staple.
Mhm. But looked back at things from the early days of
Mhm,
we lived in Chicago for a little while, and I saw some things there like Bozo,
mhm,
the Bozo show back in the early 60s, like 64.
mhm,
Um, so, but I've gone back and looked at things that were WGN standards like Susie Snowflake during the Christmas holidays, and some of the things. I'm kind of familiar um, with some of it, but not growing up there. I'm more familiar with the St. Louis stuff.
mhm.
Um, that was more of a for movies on the weekends. It was KPLR TV Channel 11 presents Sunday Movie 1. Today,
Oh,
Abbott and Costello meet the mummy.
oh, okay. So you got those. That was our what up here was 32 at during that time 60 because 50 was not around as of yet. So it was 32, 60, and 66.
Were those UHF channels?
Hmm.
Yeah. Channel 30 was the UHF one out of St. Louis. And that's where I would rig up rabbit ears and tie off everything to my little black and white TV set to get, because we didn't have an outside aerial at that point. So it's just rabbit ears, but I'd hook it up to bed springs and everything else to try to draw in Channel 30 on the weekends for Star Trek on a little
Mhm.
little console TV set.
Those were the days. That was the days. It's like Rance wrote 3 episodes of the Flintstones. I did not
Oh,
know that.
that's cool.
I never watched Ed Wood.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It's one of my favorites. I watch it every once in a while. I just get tickled at it.
Yeah, the 60s and 70s.
Mhm.
So if you was is 64, so you would have still been around for like Garfield, Goose, and Friends. It was
Yeah.
way before Ray Rayner. It was
Mhm.
way before Ray Rayner because Ray Rayner was 70s. That was when I was popped out and was a kid.
Mhm. Mhm.
So 60 you would still have like first run Garfield Goose during that time.
And see, I've seen pictures, I've seen little bits, but I don't remember that from up there. I remember a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff like Huckleberry Hound
Hmm.
and Adam Ant and Magilla Gorilla. And I remember seeing the first reruns of the Adventures of Superman, and not really understanding who it was, but that he could fly. That was really cool. And the Bozo Show. Those are the memories I got of Chicago TV from back then. Oh, and the Rifleman. We watched the Rifleman all the time.
the sta- the staple of 66 Sunday mornings. No, I take yeah, 66 would take over for Channel 9 because back in the early 80s as like it would have been it would not have been uncommon to get up before we went to church. You watch Big Valley, the Cisco Kid,
Ooh,
and Rawhide. And
Western
by the
Bloc.
time you get back, the Rifleman would have been on Channel 66, and having a mother that was a big Western fan. It's on the television.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
watch it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Tim Burton movies. It's like
Mhm,
it's really good, Laney. Yep.
mhm,
Love family classics. And
mhm.
and they were like I understanding the story behind Fraser Thomas, it was so weird because the family classics were actually curated by him.
Hmm.
And they would get the unedited versions of those movies and they would cut it in such a way
Hmm.
because it had to meet a certain requirement for it to be truly family viewing.
Oh.
So it's like you watched it, but you couldn't tell that it was edited in such
Hmm.
a way. So you get to like watch the most memorable version of like let's say Treasure Island,
Mhm,
but there was stuff that was cut out that unless you was like a diehard fan of Treasure Island, you would not know what was cut
mhm.
out until
Gotcha.
you saw it saw it in its full entirety without the commercials and everything.
Mhm,
Yeah, the 60s was prime time for WGN. Yep. Hmm.
mhm, mhm.
Jack Brickhouse trying to keep an accessible. Yeah.
Holy
I
cow.
was not going to bring that up.
Holy cow. Uh,
Well, actually, Jack Brickhouse was more known for the Hey Hey part of that before Harry Carey took it over.
Hmm.
Yep. Don't tell people your age.
uh,
Remember the episode where Fred buys his second car from the police auction and the mom goes after him because the jewels were inside the tire? Yeah. Yes, I remember that one. They don't show that episode all that often on reruns, but yes, I do remember that one because it's like, why are these people always following me? It just doesn't make any sense. I bought the car fair and square for the police. Oh, he wrote that episode. Okay.
Ah,
Ray Rayner was in the 60s with Cuddly Dudley, Clutch Cargo, Mighty.
Mighty Heroes. Yeah. Rope Man,
Yes.
Tornado Man,
Was he
Baby
late
Man.
60s? Elaine, was he actually late 60s? Because I don't remember that. I remember old school jumpsuit. He always used to wear the jumpsuits in like the 70s and everything with Cuddly Dudley and all the other stuff in the 70s.
Mhm.
Hong Kong Phooey, number one guy. Scatman Carruthers.
Mhm.
You'd be surprised of how many cartoons that he actually played.
Mhm.
And
Harlem
one of the most
Globetrotters.
famous Transformers ever.
Hmm.
Outside of Optimus and Megatron, he also played one of the most popular characters in Transformers history.
Who's that?
If you can name one out there, chat, there might be a prize out there for you.
Oh, okay, cool.
I know the answer to that question, which one he actually played. I decided that Clyde needs a Hong Kong Phooey shirt
Yeah,
of him
yeah,
in the
we could
car.
do that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's weird because I just saw the scene where he talks to the kid in
It wasn't Chauncey, it was Cheviston. Cheviston the duck that always tormented him because one of the secrets about Ray Rayner is that he was always afraid of the animals. So he would, the whole arc in the park would what was his name? Dr. Lester Fisher from Lincoln Park Zoo. He will always go to Lincoln Park Zoo and they would always do like, bits about different animals and everything. And every so often, Dr. Lester Fisher would bring animals to the show. And one of the normal repeat animals was Cheviston the duck.
Mhm. But I watched yesterday. I found a clip of Scatman
No,
Crothers talking to the kid from The
incorrect,
Shining.
Parallax.
From The Shining about what Shining is and what was weird about the hotel. That's a beautiful scene. Well, while they
Oh,
think
man.
on that, you want me to launch into my books for this
Yes.
week? Okay. Let's do it. And be thinking about who Scatman Crothers voiced on the original Transformers cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I get why Parallax said Bumblebee, but no, it wasn't Bumblebee.
Okay.
You have to think about it. Since you brought up Hong Kong Phooey, you have to think of all the other voices that he did, because it's like he did what was his name from the Curly Neal from the Harlem
No,
Globetrotters.
Metal Lark Lemon from the
Metal Like Lemon from the Globetrotters.
Globetrotters.
So I'm trying to get people to think about the types of voices that he does.
Mhm.
It was a very unique voice for this particular character.
Mhm.
Just to give you a hint, the character that replaced him in Generation 2, which would have been Blur, was voiced by the guy who did all the FedEx commercials. The fastest speaking, the FedEx and Micro Machines commercial. I can't think of his name offhand. So Blur was voiced by him, and he also did the voice of Retgar of the Junkions. So if you think what type of characters that guy would play, and Blur replaced this character in Generation 2, you might be able to figure out who it was. Because if I tell you, you're gonna be like, I always thought it sounded like, you know.
Hmm.
Yep, she got it. It was
Okay.
Jazz. It was Jazz.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, Jazz was technically the fastest vehicle that was the auto in the Autobots. He was technically the fastest because he was the Porsche 911
Oh, cool.
in that series until they came out with Blur. And Blur, you know, and him and Blur actually raced, and Jazz barely edged him out.
Hmm.
But he had been, like I said, he was Jazz's replacement for Generation 2. Yep, and he was Metal Lark Lemon. Yep. John Machia Jr. was the Micro Machines guy. Yep. I love the Harlem Globetrotters. Yep, that
Me
cartoon
too.
was funny. I like that one. I like that one. The Super Globetrotters, and I forgot what the other one that he did. He did another cartoon that was well loved and well received. But you have the floor now, Clyde.
Okay. So my best reads this week. We got the third and final issue of Batman First Night. The Batman First Night. It's a real pulpy take on Batman of the 1940 Batman. And you have world events that are going on that parallel our own. But it's a beautifully illustrated book. It does have some interesting pulp elements about it, but it also insists it does a really good, playboy Bruce Wayne, like you would expect for a pulp hero, a Lamont Cranston kind of a take on that role. But it also is Black Label, so it's got to have things that you wouldn't see necessarily in pulps of the time, dirty words and certain kinds of situations. So it's kind of like the Sandman Mystery Theater, if you ever read that from DC. It captured a time, but a real lifetime, and the hero has to fit into the real world, and that's kind of what this does. Which they did that pretty well. It's the storyline itself is a bit spotty. I really like the rap. They nailed that very well. You have the pulpy elements are really good. You've got undead, electrocuted bad guys coming back to life, and you got a really good main villain who's hidden in plain sight through most of the story. So, and then you have some, it's hard not to love that kind of a rendition, a pulpish rendition of the Batman. So it is flawed, but overall, it was, and it's a weird size. I mean, it has some things running against it. I don't like this size of. It's hard for me to store these kind of books and things, but if action pages like that, they're just really cool. So I enjoyed it. I'm just it's just pulp enough to make me really, really like it. Although I recommend it hesitantly because it's an expensive cover price and it's a weird size.
One question about that, since it was 1940s Batman, did he have the one instrument that was removed from his utility belt from all other incarnations of him?
They talk about, like, Commissioner Gordon says, here, take this gun. You're going to need it. And he takes a gun, he thinks about it, but he ends up not using it, if that's the device you're talking about.
Then I have a problem with it, because if I remember correctly, 1930s and 1940s Batman used the gun.
Oh yeah, he carried a flap hole. He was very pulpy back then. He carried a flap holster, a gun in it. He shot bad guys, but they decided to go the route of, and there's a scene where he's holding a Thompson, but I don't think he shoots it. So he went in prepared with one at one point, but I don't think he shoots anybody with it. I don't think. He didn't just, he talked about being dedicated not using firearms because he saw what the kind of tragedies that they can be responsible for. But he did consider it because he gets beat up a lot. Like a good pulp hero, he gets beat up a lot in this
Mhm.
series, you know. So he at least gave it some consideration. So, but I thought last issue they kind of introduced that idea, and I wondered if he wouldn't resort to having the old flap holster arrangement this issue, but that did not take place. So, one of the other books of this week that I like is the second issue of The Wrong Earth Dead Ringers. This is the one from Ahoy where you have Dragonfly Man, 1966 kind of hero, and Dragonfly, 1990s kind of hero. They're in two different realities and they cross worlds. And right now you got both of them stuck in 1966 world. And we're seeing how that all plays out while they try to remake the mega mirrors that let them switch universes to get back to their proper timelines. Um, I've liked this series from the beginning. They've had several volumes of it with or miniseries of it with different subtitles. They kind of lost their way and I had stopped getting it, but this one went back to the Tom Payer and Jamal Igle art, which he is excellent at doing the golden age or the silver age kind of Batman-ish era heroes, Batman TV show heroes, and their very gritty 90 counterparts. He always makes that funny. So it was a good read. The second issue of Rook Exodus from Ghost Machine. These are the folks that are putting out Redcoat and Geiger. This is not directly part of that universe, but it's a really good science fiction story about terraformers on other worlds and an uprising, and they're put out there by a corporation to settle these Earth-like planets, make them Earth-like. And apparently the corporations had issues getting them stuff, and maybe they have, communication is down. So it could be that the corporations have decided to just, this isn't profitable anymore. I'm sorry, we're not going to send you anything now. You're on your own. But they have different wardens that have a psychic link through tech with a helmet. They have a link to different life forms on the world. And as Exodus, makes you think they're going to leave, but I'm not sure that's actually going to happen. Some of them were preparing to leave these worlds because they don't know that they can sustain them by themselves, but others are dedicated to staying and making a go of it without any support from Earth. We had the wrap up with issue 6 of Alan Scott, The Green Lantern. And of the redos that they did regarding Justice Society and Golden Age heroes, that being Wesley Dodds, the Sandman, Jay Garrick, the Flash, and Alan Scott, the Green Lantern. I like the Flash the best. I thought it had the most story potential after the series. This one brings us a revised major villain for Green Lantern. It explores Alan Scott's sexuality during the Second World War, right before and during the Second World War. And it wraps up on I have been able to tell where this story was going with each issue. I was not surprised at where it went or what things it tackled till this one. The wrap is really well done, and it has a beautiful sense of humor about it. It has a very, very firm foundation for the Green Lantern to have built, the many decades of reputation on since. And I really, really liked the ending of it. For all the things I foresaw in the first 5 issues, this one pulled out some stops and really, really, really showed it was a worthwhile effort to have a modern day Alan Scott thinking back to how it all began for him. I picked this one up kind of on a lark. You don't have a 70th anniversary every day, and this was a thick book. It's a $10 comic, but it's also the size of some trades, So Godzilla's 70th anniversary issue. This came out last week, but I really enjoyed it. And if you listen to some of the talent in here, we got Dan Didio, Joel Jones, Danny Lore, Sebastian Peary, um, Matt Frank, Johnny Winter, Mark Takarada. We got EJ Sue, Adam Gorham. We got Casey Gilly, Liana Kangas, Michael W. Conrad, Natasha Altarisi, and lettered by Russ Wooten in almost every story, and the designs by Nathan Whittick. And it's just a real love letter over several stories to Godzilla. And they got everything in here from, I mean, any kind of a story that you could imagine connecting to kaiju, from Men on the Street to governments out of control to corporations out of control, to revenge, to the strength of family, and a variety of art styles capturing Godzilla. It's just beautifully done. I got to tell a couple of my friends that are really big Godzilla fans, they should pick it. They probably already have picked it up, but they should not overlook it. And I am a marginal, on the outskirts kind of Godzilla fan. I like him, but I'm not nearly as dedicated as a lot of people that I know who love Godzilla. But this was very well done. This is the way to celebrate a 70th anniversary of a character. So that brings us to what I'm going to review. Now, I got the first issue last month. How can you not love a cover like this? I mean, really. I got that, and I'll tell you, I didn't do a review on it because I wasn't sure. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But let me show you. Dudley Datsun and the Forever Machine is what this is called. And let me show you some of the art here. Now, this gets me. I love the first cover. This cover, it leaves something to be desired for me. It just didn't really leap out at me, but it is germane to the story, so it has that at least. It's not one of those scenes that doesn't take place in the book. So I mentioned Jamal Igle on The Wrong Earth. He is the artist behind this comic book series too, and you get that clean penciling style with a villain that shows up to take on our young protagonist and his dog.
And there's the dog again too.
Yep. Yeah, the dog is consistent. You see him a lot. I really like this techno mythological look of the bad guy. I thought that was well done. And we have a giant maze at one section that our heroes are committed to. And we have some flashbacks, including a bit of Oppenheimer here, because this book deals with this power of invention. Later on, we get to see a kind of a high-tech Minotaur in the labyrinth, and we also have flashbacks to ancient and mythological times. We see where King Minos hires Daedalus to construct the maze on Crete, and how that all turned out. So I gotta say, this book is, if nothing else, it's quirky. Dudley Datsun and the Forever Machine #2 of, I think, 5 issues. It's a Dark Horse title of $4.99 cover price. It's written by Scott Snyder, pencils by Jamal Igle. The inks are by Juan Castro. The colors are Chris Sotomayer's work. The letters are by Tom Napolitano. And the maturity level, it doesn't have one. Dark Horse normally doesn't assign it, but I would say it's teen plus. So while I write for various sites, this is my own independent feature, and it should not be considered representing any views of those sites. So you got pets, mythology, the powers fueling creativity, and humankind's endless quest for invention. Those aren't elements that you always see chucked together, but in Dudley Dotson and the Forever Machine, it's only the beginning. This series first appeared on Comixology, and now Dark Horse is bringing it into printed form. Issue number 1 came out last month and immediately went into, I'm going to call it the wait and see before comment stack. That's a special holding pattern reserved for quirky titles, ones often with tons of promise, but equal parts opportunities for crashing under their own concept weight. They can take off and fly, or a lot of times they don't. They might even, qualify for being thrown across the room if they fail spectacularly. But holding pattern to see where they were going. And this week's second issue, it shows the potential is met, and at times I think even exceeded. So how is this for Quirk? You got a 15-year-old named Dudley Datson. He's a modern day kid with a gift for invention. His parents recognized that he had talent early on in this field, and even though their economic status was never flush, they're very blue-collar type parents, they provided for and encouraged his creative efforts. So the first issue found Dudley preparing for a science fair presentation at his school. And this invention is a clothing innovation which uses sewn-in circuitry activated by a remote to change one's clothing as instantly and effortlessly as changing uniforms in a first-person video game. So over breakfast, his father insists that he will be at the presentation despite health issues, work schedules, and he's undergoing some kind of treatment for a critical illness. Probably cancer. I don't know that it ever specifies. Dudley's mother has passed away, so it's really just him and his dad against the world, and it's a world that has sometimes been less than kind to them. So Dudley and his friend, Ono, join with Dudley's mentor, Dr. Shea, and her corgi named Daedalus, and the exhibition center. They all meet there, and we see just how much his teacher, that Ms. Shea, or Dr. Shea rather, has become almost a surrogate mother to Dudley. She's his encourager, and she even reins in the opportunistic Ono from taking advantage of his friend Dudley while he is serving as the progeny's intern assistant for this event. Despite all the careful prep, though, Dudley's unveiling of the attire actuator ends in disaster. A break in the circuitry caused by Daedalus leaves the young inventor standing on stage in his undies instead of switching his clothes to different ensembles. To make matters worse, his dad's health takes a downward turn. Dad doesn't make it to the presentation, and he's actually hospitalized trying to get there. It adds to bills that the family is having trouble paying to begin with. Hoping to repair his invention and maybe market it for added income, Dudley returns to the exhibition hall later that evening and fixes the device. But in the midst of his success, a battle breaks out between a group of gangster-looking enforcers and Dr. Shea, who is now sporting an exoskeleton battlesuit. She holds out the attackers long enough to give Dudley a mysterious wristwatch, and she sends the youth and Daedalus to safety. Luckily, the clueless young inventor soon learns the truth. Dr. Shea wasn't just a teacher, but one of many agents working for the Chemical Society. That's CHYMICAL, as in the wonders of the hands of man sort. The society is, in fact, an order of humanity's greatest inventors. The teachers within its ranks take promising inventors under their care and encourage inventions which are the right kinds of breakthroughs, those that serve to improve the human race, like the printing press and polio vaccines. As explained to Dudley, Dr. Shea was a great student and warrior for that cause, who sacrificed herself so that Dudley could continue his journey as the next generation of inventor. It's explained to her by Dr. Shea's teacher, who is the corgi named Daedalus, because yes, he speaks, and he's not just named Daedalus. He is the modern incarnation of that early inventor who is now considered mythological. The truth is, Daedalus and others like him saw the potential for humanity's drive for invention and made plans for a forever machine, one that would go into perpetual motion, fueled by pure creative thought toward pure and selfless invention. But they were opposed by others who sought to utilize it for conquering others and creating inventions that would solve the problems of now, not the wonderful what ifs of tomorrow. Those agents, known as the Prometheans, along with the society members opposing them, ascended to a higher state of being thanks to an attempted use of the machine. Both continue their war into modern times, and the society has something the Prometheans want with all their dark and evil hearts. They want the watch entrusted to Dudley because it has a portal function, one which can take the bearer to the Symposium of Worlds, a destination that the Forever Machine was built to reach so that human invention could transcend earthly confines and become one with cosmic forces. If the Prometheans capture it and they use it, they will launch an infinite dynasty of predatory self-aggrandizement and subjugation of all beings considered lesser, which would be pretty much everybody that's not a Promethean. So in issue number 2, we're given a study and contrast between the fascination many of the greatest inventors of the world have had with pets and with mazes. Archimedes had an owl. Da Vinci had a cat. Alexander Graham Bell had a terrier. Einstein a parrot. Many were beings masquerading as pets, just like Daedalus is, and their function was to help these creative individuals dream bigger and dream better. Pets do this through boundless love. Mazes, another inventor predilection, may provide an opposite input. They represent boundaries, and those inspire dreams of escape, of overcoming difficulties in order to achieve a culmination of creative force sufficient for making the dream become reality. So we find Daedalus and Dudley confronted by one of the more powerful Prometheans, Perdix, the nephew of Daedalus from mythology, and when he battles the boy and his dog, they fall to an onslaught of tech deemed more dangerous than beneficial, benchmarks of the Promethean way of doing business. But before Perdix can take the watch, Dudley tries accessing the Symposium of Worlds himself to keep the Prometheans out. Well, that effort fails, and it lands him and Daedalus in a maze inspired by the one that Daedalus built for King Minos in ancient times. Only this one covers an entire planet. So as the duo work at overcoming the labyrinth, they discuss the two types of invention, especially ones which you stand ready to reveal, to unleash on the world, driven by less than altruistic goals. Like maybe it's through necessity, as many feel the atomic bomb was necessary to end the slaughter of World War II. Maybe it's convenient, better now before anyone else beats you to the fortune and the glory connected to with an invention. But often these eventually come with the wish that the genie of the genius could somehow be placed back inside the bottle. The Pandoras of possibility quickly overcome by the mischief that they've unleashed. When the Corgi and the kid manage to return to Earth, they find it under full Promethean attack. And they also find that their primary opponent may not be Perdix after all. So the good. By the setup, you can see that this title, it delves into some fairly deep waters of thought and philosophy. Scott Snyder adds to his script a lot of action to balance this out, however, and his exposition is less clunky than I've managed in recapping it. Even when it's raw exposition, it's interesting enough. The case for invention as both humanity's most pure and creative expression, as well as its most dangerous and utter folly, is presented in fascinating manner as the story of Dudley unfolds. In issue number 2, we also see Snyder avoiding easy answers regarding those contrasts. Dudley lost his mom, and he's in danger of losing his father unless major medical expenses can be met and treatments secured. How can his son not use his inventive genius to secure funding that they'll need, no matter what impact his invention may have on the garment industry or the fashion market or even military mobilization? I mean, if that seems a stretch, just imagine being able to instantly switch equipment and clothing out in the field to go from land-based to underwater deployments. So Snyder's concept is overall one which invites the reader's imagination to churn along after you put the comic book down. And I think that's always a good thing. I first loved Jamal Ingalls' pencils when he began The Wrong Earth over at Ahoy Comics. The clean lines and the excellent panel compositions that delineated 1960s from 1990s comic book worlds. Here, it's used to contrast the ancient and mythological beginnings of the inventive struggle and its modern battlefield with fusions of inherent aesthetics. It reminded me of Stargate, how ancient Egyptian fused with modern technology or advanced technology. And the Prometheans, especially, they appear suited up in that Spartan army splendor mixed with titanium based exoskeletal enhancement. Eigel also brings the action. My favorite scene in this issue is seeing a very bad guy getting struck by a black hole projecting galaxy gun. Just the idea of that tickles me, and the scene was great. So, Cress Sotomayor's palette is a bright one, but avoids being gaudy. Its lighter tone adds a lot to this sort of story. I think a lot of people would have cloaked all the Prometheans in deepest dyes and shadows, but their appearance and that of the society are an equal illuminated footing. They both seek, in fact, illumination via invention, only their goals are much, much different. On the same note, if you recently viewed the film Oppenheimer, it could prime you for this read, because much of this dilemma facing the father of atomic power is threaded through the narrative of issue number 2, where a young man is beginning to understand the power his creativity can have on not only his own fate, but also on his world. So the bad. With the emphasis on ancient tales and invention, there's a natural tendency toward reliving Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny once again. And for some, that's not a problem, and others, it may be similar enough in surface elements to curry dislike for the book. Unfortunately, for many viewers, one experience with Dial was enough, and Forever Machine concepts in this book may be a bridge too far. However, there are significant differences in the story approach, and unless Snyder pulls some kind of time travel antics along the way in the next few issues, there should remain only surface similarities to that movie. While the examination of creativity, inspiration, and human invention are well thought out, they may also be bridges that some readers just lack interest in crossing at all. If you marvel at the sacrifice of how silly putty began as an accidental discovery meant as a rubber substitute, or if you're filled with empathy regarding the fate of the Radium Girls, those girls who painted watch faces with radium paint and who suffered necrosis of skin and bone because who knew that this stuff was bad for you? The theme of the title will appeal to you. If you like your microwave oven, but you don't really give a fig about Percy Spencer discovering the heating potential of a specific vacuum tube while working on radar designs, this look at invention could bore you. And for still others, this could be kind of a bait and switch. Cute mythological inventor Corgi is present. There's not a lot of pet interaction except for Daedalus. And Daedalus is not really acting like a dog. You know, he's an intelligent being who talks. So it seems to have a pet approach, but not the kind that you would find like with Pet Avengers. So the takeaway, is Deadly Dotson a good story? It's entertainment, which also makes you think about both sides of the invention coin, while also whisking you off to different and far away and hidden, sometimes alien places. It has a great main character in Dudley, the 15-year-old inventor who stares the altruistic goals of his ambition and the real-world necessities that his brilliance can find squarely in the eye. So far, his soul remains intact, and the story basically hooks you into wondering if that will continue and how his situation will evolve from here, including what his reactions are going to be. It strikes me as a great read for adults, but also for teens, given such a strong, youthful protagonist faced with these sorts of decisions. Dudley Dotson and the Forever Machine #2, it may be quirky in concept, but it's appealing in both content and graphic expression. So it gets my Eureka score of 8 out of 10.
That is kind of a weird analysis to Dial of Destiny.
Oh, yeah, I think?
Yeah, because again, I don't see it as a reliving your past glory or explaining of what you were about in the past.
Right. The elements that it has is that all this began in ancient times, just like the Dial of Destiny invention, and it impacts the modern world. that kind of a thought pattern, a process, is what reminded me of Dial of Destiny. But I think this is much superior to it. But I thought some readers might, if they didn't like Dial of Destiny, they might see some similarities on the surface and go, "Blah, I don't want that." So
I'm just thinking when I think about Dial of Destiny, I would think more about the fact that they sought out what
right,
that use was, as
right,
opposed
right,
to you're not they're not seeking out this information. They are part of a lineage, and
right,
to
right.
me that throws that to me that analogy it kind of warps it a little bit.
Hmm. I don't know. I just, as I read it, I thought more about that because of when they do the scenes back in ancient times, and I
Mhm.
thought somebody that just would read the blurb about it might come to that conclusion. Um, if they do some time travel hopping, it would be even more. So I don't. I hope they don't go that route. I don't think they're going to.
Mhm.
But that's why.
But that would be interesting because if the main character meets the person who is responsible for all of this, it
Hmm.
kind of makes a little bit more sense
Hmm.
with Dial of Destiny because again, it's not them trying to try and travel back to give one person an advantage. It would
Right.
be more along the lines the lineage led up to that point.
Hmm.
Because even in Dial of Destiny, it's like even Indy did not know that the dial actually was something that's going to bring them back to that time.
Right. 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 Right.
But that's interesting.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of comments that was going on in
Oh,
between here.
okay.
And let me go back here because we was talking. It started with the kaiju books and everything
Okay.
because we was up. It's like we talked about Love the Harlem Globetrotters, and then the best line in Hong Kong Fooey when somebody said, "Ah, it's Hong Kong Fooey." And Hong Kong Fooey goes, "That's right, other than you said Fooey." And then that's where everything started with the Godzilla book.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Hmm.
No, that's the
Oh,
Batman book, I
pulpy,
should say. Pulpy, yeah.
pulpy.
Yeah. Settle down, lady. Lady McLean aeroplane. Rooks looks interesting.
Hmm.
It's like I want Clive to review my book when it comes out.
You got it. I will do that.
Oh, it's like,
Gojira!
oh, Gojira. Yes.
Yep,
You
yep.
had me at Gojira. I've been aching for that kaiju book. So 70 years of that. And
Mhm.
this is and then when you showed the book that you just reviewed with the cover
Mhm.
that had the dog in front of it.
Oh.
This is why I was saying Parallax probably got deep from the stereo squee. And the stereo squee is coming from Beanie and Lils because of the doggy on the cover. And she's saying, "Sorry, I'm a kaiju fiend." And I was like,
Cool, cool.
"I just like the modern take of Mecha Gojira," and I actually do. I do like the modern take of Mecha Godzilla because
Mhm.
originally in the movies they built Mecha Godzilla to deal with Godzilla. In the modern take, Mecha Godzilla is the backup,
Mm.
meaning if they cannot summon Godzilla, they have something that's equivalent that can deal
Oh,
with it.
okay.
So
That's
that's why I say
interesting.
I like the modern take of Mecha Gojira as opposed to, oh, we need something to stop him. It's like
Right, right.
nothing beats Gojira,
Yeah.
but having that backup to be like, we got something just as good.
It's interesting that you bring up Mechagodzilla because next week
Mhm,
they're putting out the same company, I think, I'm pretty sure, putting out a 50th anniversary issue about Godzilla and Mechagodzilla.
mhm.
I don't think it's going to be as don't think it's as big as this one, but I went ahead and put it on my pull list because I want to see what they do with that too. So,
Because it's like it's not really a rivalry
mhm,
because originally Mechagodzilla was a way to deal with Godzilla, but depending on who's telling the story, that's why I love the modern take because
mhm,
eventually they got to the point it's like well, we can't beat him
Mm-hmm.
using technology, but maybe, just maybe, we could get good enough to be almost like him,
Mm-hmm.
or her, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
almost like her, where if
Mm-hmm.
we can't summon Godzilla, we have a good backup plan
Mm-hmm.
to deal with all the other kaijus.
Right.
So hopefully they're going to talk about a lot of the battles, because there was a lot of battles between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And
I want Godzilla -1 to come out on streaming so I can see it. I didn't get to watch it in theaters, and I am really stoked. I want to see it. I've heard such good
I
things.
did not know that that actually came out.
Godzilla -1, got an Academy Award, and it showed in several theaters, but it was still we're still having to avoid crowds at the time, and I never did get a chance to go see it in the theaters. I thought I'll just watch it on streaming, but it was so popular that they're they're they keep putting off releasing it in the United States, at least on streaming. So
Okay. Well, that's almost like getting a certain Brian K. Morris to watch the Netflix version of Ultraman. I've been telling him, it's like you need to watch it.
Mhm.
It covers a lot of stuff that him and I know about, but he knows a lot more of the history.
Hey,
And
that
I'm up there
reminds me.
like, I need that aspect of the history that
There's one
he can cover a little bit better.
there's one variant cover on this Godzilla book that I really
Mhm.
wanted, but it wasn't the one that they pulled for me, so I didn't go trying to get the other one. But there's one story that made me think of you, Joe,
Mhm.
in here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because it has an appearance of another um, character that I don't think has ever been shown with Godzilla. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Eh.
Oh, dang it, I can't think of his name.
Jaguar?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, Jaguar. Yep, yep. We get to see them have a team up / battle here.
Mhm.
So one of the covers had him on there, and I was like, woo! But I had seen it on online, but I didn't see it at the store, so I just got the one that they pulled for me. Which is
Maybe I won't.
it's a good cover. I mean, this is
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. It's creepy looking.
Mhm. Maybe I will ask Clyde to review my comic as they do it.
Do it, yes.
No, you can't make me. Very true. Matt Smith ain't the only one that can act like a pre-adolescent girl. And we would laugh, and it's like, maybe we need teach that back in the day, but for writers and artists. And
Yeah.
then that's when Parallax was getting upset. It's like, you two are interrupting Sir Clyde. Desist this insolence. No. Give me candy. Hush. Go sits in the corner. Is that Clyde? Tuesday Taylor Dolly LOL. She talked about the one that's in front of the mystery machine. I believe that was your makeshift
Oh, this is my
Black Canary.
yeah, that's the classic Black Canary that I made from a Super Queen, which was the Captain Action female hero versions. But yeah, she's I don't know. I made Justice Society of America characters for Captain Action, and gotta have Black Canary with the JSA and Wonder Woman. So I bought a Wonder Woman custom, and I customized one of the ideal dolls of the time into being Black Canary. Let's see if I can get her to stand upright. Okay.
Can't believe I prayed to Thor's left booty cheek to get her here. No, that greased out Olivia Newton-John for Green. Yeah. And then she goes, Piff, my left booty cheek is at least 200 pounds. Pray to that. We both started laughing at that. And she raises her hand and she says, can I become the goddess of death and destruction, please? And then I love Pet Avengers bookies. Eureka. I got that reference. And I'm old and very short. Yep. Continental Drift. Yep. Beanie wants to get Clyde a dolly. Oh, that's going to be interesting. I wonder which one she's thinking about. Clyde, I have a couple here on YouTube known as the Media Nights did a reaction video for it.
For
Dollar Destiny, I believe.
Okay.
Show Clyde the picture I showed you. The Olivia Newton-John from the Grease finale. Stop playing.
Yeah, I never thought about that. It does look like her. It's true. Yeah.
Oh no, well, no. She's talking about this one, this cover here.
Okay.
She thought you would probably like this cover. Because I have to share screens. Yep.
They had several different covers, but yeah, that's a cool one too.
Yeah, the picture I sent, is the cover that he wants. No, Godzilla -1. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but you said that they did a good reaction video. So Elaine may show you the reaction video to the Media Nights version of Godzilla -1.
Gotcha.
That's the Sunity incentive variant. Oh, emphasis on incentive.
Yeah.
Most comic book stores don't get incentives, especially when they don't have enough customers that may buy into like that.
Yeah, our local shops around here wouldn't. I can't imagine them qualifying now, but maybe some of the St. Louis stores, but not in our little neck of the woods.
Yeah, but that's kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm still thinking about the Godzilla -1, but now you got me truly thinking about the unique history between Mechagodzilla and Godzilla, or Gojira and Mecha Gojira. But for a man-made kaiju, it could hold its own against a lot of them. Makes me wonder about the pilots though too, because those pilots for Mecha Gojira, they're not the average everyday, oh, I just want to go into this kaiju fight type deal. A lot of times they to me, I think they have to have more fortitude than kamikaze pilots, because there is no guarantee that you're coming home after that.
Yeah,
none. True. 0.
That's true.
But well, Elaine said it's like I would have sold a few Thug Boys kidneys. Oh my goodness! I just see Elaine being a stalker in the night, getting Thug Boys kidneys, and be like, I got the money now.
I'm picturing her with pickle jars with things floating in there.
It looks like we're at the end of another excellent show here, Clyde. Let's go ahead and wrap things up here, unless there's something else that our chat is going to say here.
Sounds like
I
a good
also I
item.
also noticed that we were short a Carl and Donna this
Mhm.
week.
Well,
I wonder if they're doing okay.
I have seen their posts this week. I haven't seen any problems, but if that's what I meant about Brian Morris,
Mhm.
with the other show, they probably watched it, and then they go from that when they go to the other.
Yeah, because it
Uh,
probably would have ran right into Stupid O'Clock. No, Stupid O'Clock would have started right before Eric leaves.
so they've had a little time, but I mean, why drop
Mhm.
in here for 15 minutes and then? So, or they may have stopped in and maybe I can't really see if we have any likes or anything. They may have stopped in and liked us. And I don't know. But
You see reports of thug boys losing kidneys, you'll know.
you'll know. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. The kidney bandit has struck again.
uh, I could just see it. It's like it just happened out of nowhere. It's like all of these known felons out of nowhere just end up missing a kidney, and they don't know how or why.
The urban legend of waking up in a bathtub with
Mhm.
ice and all stitched up has come to reality. So,
That is yep, so you have the floor.
all right. So, I'm Clyde Hall, Elder Statesman of Geekery, and you can follow me on Facebook at Clyde Hall, at Radiating Positive Vibes with author Clyde Hall. And under those headings, we make a daily posting that we try to improve your day with. It can be things about art, nostalgia. Well, we do Museum Mondays, we do Trippy Tuesday with different kinds of art. Um, we do Mirthful Midweek on Wednesdays. So give us a shout out, give us a try on Facebook under those titles. I'm also on Twitter at CJ Hall 1984, or you can check out my Amazon authors page right down here. I'm currently part of the online comic book review crew here and also at Comics Beat, aka The Beat. In my spare time, I'm an independent and award winning author and a contributing writer at Stormgate Press. Their newest short story anthology is, and of course, I don't have it in front of me. I've got all the ones except it. Hang on a minute. There it is. Okay. The Lost Adventures of Captain Hawkland, Volume 2. I also have a copy of and have a short story in Lost Adventures of Captain Hawkland, Volume 1. Um, this one has just come out the last few weeks. It's available on Amazon, or you can go to www.stormgatepress.com and you can delve into my contribution for this issue, which is called The Achilles Affair. Um, and also, we have other books from Stormgate Press, like Major Marjorie. I said the Achilles Affair. I'm sorry, it's the Archimedes Affair. And I have Dial of Destiny on the brain here. But uh, Major Marjorie, this is a sci-fi new pulp kind of story from Stormgate Press. Tim Bruckner created this character and invited several of the Stormgate Press authors to write original short stories based on her, and it was a great time. And if you like the pulpy um, space age, retro space age kind of look, Major Marjorie might just be your cup of tea. If you like westerns, Joe was talking about Western theater on Sunday afternoons in his hometown of Chicago. Well, Spurs and Six Shooters, Tales of the Old West just might be your groove from Stormgate Press. Again, I have short stories in all these, and so do people like Brian K. Morris, Charles F. Millhouse, Bobby Nash, and others. So, and one of the other consistencies that we have are wonderful covers. These covers are done by Jeffrey Hayes of Plasma Fire Graphics. This one, this one is an award-winning. Yeah, I can't. Where am I at? Oh, there I go. Get rid of this. Oh, This one is a Pulp Factory award-winning cover, as is his cover for Brian K. Morris's recent The Terrors.
And
Plasma
hold up
Fire
the other book.
Graphics.
Hold up the Six Shooters book too.
Oh,
Hold
and
up that one and the Terrors together.
okay,
So people need to know
okay.
that
there you go.
both covers were both nominated. The
Mhm.
Terrors won.
Terrors won. Terrors won. That's right. And then I think this is my favorite cover of his. Every one that comes out, I'm like, oh, so I have a new favorite cover. But this one, I really, really love the look of the aviation new pulp hero Captain Hawkland here in the Lost Adventures Volume 2. So his artwork, Jeffrey Hayes at Plasma Fire Graphics, has the kind of art for your games, your publishing projects that bring people to your table at shows. And he is affordable. He is wonderful to work with. If you look at the style that he's got, it is not an AI kind of an approach to art. It is his own renditions, and having worked with him on a couple of different projects, including this wonderful Captain Hawkland story from the first volume, the Banshee Barnstormer he did for me, I can say with all assurance that he can do wonderful work for you. And Joe is going to tell you how you can make that happen.
Exactly, because whoops. Our wonderful show, when we don't have technical difficulties, is sponsored by Plasma Fire Graphics. If you like what Clyde showed to you, especially dealing with the covers, hit up Jeffrey Hayes on getting your covers done directly through him. And if you need a little bit more encouragement, take a look at this little video here.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now, it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasma Fire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
And on that note, it's time for us to say goodbye here. But as far as me is concerned, I will be back here. Well, I should say be back here for our normal From Desolate Small Press Publisher show this upcoming Saturday. But in addition to that, I will also be on Whatnot this weekend for our bi-monthly. Is it bi-monthly? Yeah, bi-monthly, twice a month. Bi-monthly shows on Whatnot here. I will be out there selling some more comics from my collection, as well as books from the CGC Studios as well here. And as I stated before, after this show, the next one after that is bring your She-Hulk want list. Like I said, I'm going to try to help those people complete their collections. The week after that is the massive Bring Your Wonder Woman show. Bring Your Wonder Woman want list show. Trust me, if you have missing books, I'm going to try to fill them. Especially with everybody that's always coming up to me talking about, oh, I'm missing books from Volume 2, which is the George Perez run, from Perez covers to Bolin covers to Byrne covers to Adam Hughes covers. I got you covered. You're missing stuff from the Terry Dodson run. I got you covered. You're missing stuff from New 52. Got you covered. You're missing stuff from the recent Volume 5. I kind of got you covered. I'm not going to give up everything that's extra, but I know I'm going to have a little bit of enough of everything to kind of help people along. If I can't get it completed, I'm going to get you maybe within a few issues of completed here, and it's going to be at nominal fees here. And when I say nominal, I'm not trying to bilk people out of money. I'd probably just go ahead and do it either at the cost of what I got it for, or at a book value that is okay. Because again, especially if I start giving up some of my volume 1 stuff, my extra stuff, that might be a little bit pricey. It will probably be buy it now, buy in the bin for buy it now, but it won't be overpriced like most other sellers would sell it for. And on that note, I would say live life, grow, and be well. And unlike Brian K. Morris, I don't care if you wash your hands or not. Why? Because we're outside of the pandemic at this point. But never, and I do mean never, apologize for being awesome. We will catch you here next weekend. Not next weekend, next Thursday. Because this weekend we're going to have Whatnot and from Deso Small Press Publisher. But next Thursday, I catch you right back here. It's probably going to be myself and Eric, and we're probably going to end up talking more about G.I. Joes. And I promise you guys, we're going to have our cartoon show soon. We just haven't figured out which cartoons we're going to be talking about here, but we're going to have all three of us talking about cartoons soon. So see you later, and we are out. Have a very good rest of your